reopening of the bridge will reopen the Holiday Road Nature Trail, which connects Holiday Farms with 975 East. Also, I wanted to let you know that we have entered into an agreement to paint the lampposts in the village. There is faded paint on most of them and rust on some of them. They will be sandblasted and repainted in Zionsville green. This expense is covered under the current budget. Work on this should begin in late August or early September, so they will be bright and shiny for the Fall Festival come October. The Zionsville Street Dance is coming up on August 2nd. This will be the first such event of this size since the designated outdoor refreshment area was put into place earlier this year. The Main Street organization has had 2 of its Mingle on Main events so far. Both have been very well received and well attended, and Dora has really been a great addition to that. And finally, and normally I wouldn't make this part of my administration report, but I wanted to take a moment to mark the passing of Doug Pendleton. Most people around here know him as the wine guy. Doug owned and operated the Grapevine Village for nearly 30 years on Main Street in Zionsville, and arguably his business did as much as any to draw people back to Zionsville again and again over the years. His kindness and knowledge for his customers were legendary. Doug died as a result of injuries suffered in an accident in Fort Wayne earlier this month at the age of 77, and he will be surely missed. And that's all I have. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, first item up of old business is a consideration of a right-of-way vacation. This is the Holiday Farms. This is final reading, ordinance 2025-16. I know we heard this at the last meeting. We have Mike Dale, Director of Planning and Building, here if needed. Are there any questions or comments from councilors?
Did we hear anything from anyone? Because I got nothing from anybody worried about it from Holiday Farms.
I didn't hear one word.
Okay.
Otherwise, I would entertain a motion.
So moved.
We have first from Councilor Norris,
Second.
second from Councilor Melton. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion passes 6 in favor, 0 opposed. Up next is a consideration of an ordinance regarding right-of-way consent to encroach. This is also a final reading, ordinance 2025-17, and we have DPW Director Lance here if there are any questions from councilors. Are there any questions? Having none, I would entertain a motion.
And just a reminder, there's an amendment, which I'm happy to explain. There's just a few technical amendments, as well as Councilor Melton at the last meeting requested clarification about providing written permission if you're going to have something in the street or on the sidewalk for more than 24 hours. And also to clarify that if you are required to have lamp lights or some kind of cones, that would be at the requester's cost. And so those are included in the changes.
Thanks, Heather. Any questions or comments from councilors? Having none, I would make a motion to approve ordinance 2025-17 on final reading with the appropriate amendments.
Second.
I have a second from Councilor Norris. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion passes 6 in favor, 0 opposed. First item of new business is a consideration of an alley vacation. This is Hawthorne and 2nd Street. This is ordinance 2025-18. This is a first reading. We have Mike Dale, Director of Planning and Building, Dale Kennedy, the petitioner, and I believe we also have Leslie Beekman Carter, who also will give consideration during the public hearing. So, Mike, go ahead. Yeah.
Good morning. Mike Dale, Director of Planning and Building. Clarence and Cheryl Kennedy are here to request a vacation of a public alley between lots 2 and 3 in the original plat of the town of Zionsville. The petitioner owns both of those lots located west of South 2nd Street. The petitioner is seeking to build a house on lot 3, which is located south of the subject alley. They are requesting the additional area of the alley for purposes of avoiding variances for lot coverage, minimum lot coverage, and minimum building setbacks when they propose to build their house. They wish to vacate the entire 16.5-foot alley located between lots 2 and 3. The alley is currently improved with gravel and supports overhead utilities and underground conduit for Charter Spectrum, which is an internet TV mobile phone services provider. The Department of Public Works has issued a letter as part of their review for this project, indicating that the vacated area should remain as a utility easement, allowing for continued maintenance of the utilities within the easement. Staff notes that there is a residential garage located west of the alley. Presumably, the owner, from time to time of that garage, uses this alley for accessing the garage. However, there is a reference in the proposed ordinance under Section 3, Access and Utilities, that states that the public access for unimpeded vehicular and pedestrian use shall be provided by the owner of the area. So in other words, even though this alley would become privately owned, it would still remain publicly accessible, both for maintaining the utilities and for pedestrians wanting to or needing to use that alley. That's all I have for you at the moment. If you have don't have any more questions for me or any other questions for me, the petitioner, I believe, is here.
Questions from councilors for Mike?
With this being in my district, I do see, two neighbors needing use of the alley for different reasons. And I guess I wanted to hear from Leslie, just to get a feel for, because I read your letter that said,
Well, wait just a
Yeah,
second.
we're
I
gonna-
think we want to have the petitioner first.
okay, but for
present.
you, Mike, my question would be, when you write that you're okay with it, if there's the utilities and an easement, is that easement recorded and it stays with the property, not just with the current owner?
Yes, in
Is that
fact,
an expense incurred on the Carters, or is it on, is there an expense that comes with that recording?
right, within the ordinance that would be recorded, it states that under ownership, maintenance, and repair, the boarding properties are owned by the petitioner at the time of consideration. The vacation will transfer ownership, including all ongoing maintenance, repair obligations, and all liability equally to the property owners on both sides of that alley. So both the property owner is responsible for maintaining the alley, and also whoever may have access or need to use the alley for those utilities would have a right to access and maintain the utilities within that easement.
Okay.
that answer
So
your
the
question?
recording of that easement would be
Will obligate the
whose
owners.
obligation?
It obligates both, it obligates the owner to maintain the easement and also provides those interests that have utilities within the easement to maintain, gives them a right to maintain those utilities.
I'm thinking more if Ms. Carter sells her property, how does she ensure that the next people have that easement?
Well, it'll be, this work will be recorded and will be found in a title search whenever there's a transfer of ownership.
And Sarah, the town normally does that, and it's just like a $25 fee.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that that was not just something at this meeting that's lost in minutes and, okay.
No. Good question.
So the idea, Mike, is that, I know we've done this in the past, especially when alleyways aren't really used regularly in the village. The idea is that, if I read this correctly, half of the alley that exists now would provide Mr. and Ms. Kennedy the opportunity to build whatever house they need without a variance request.
Well, it depends on the size of the house they want to build. At least if it doesn't
As
eliminate.
prepared, perhaps.
If it doesn't eliminate the need for variance, it will minimize the need for the variances.
Yeah.
That was kind of a concern I had too, because of the feedback we got from a house on Main Street being bigger than the general consensus wanted it. And if we take this away and then suddenly a bigger house appears, we've kind of created the path without seeing the horse. So that was just my one. But I was thinking maybe you would have had some sort of access to what is planned to be built, because you said it still needed variances. Or is that just supposing that it would still?
I think, I'm not quite sure on the status of the proposal. Roger Kilmer had been working on this, though there has been discussion within the office about the proposal to build a house on the lot, on the southern lot, Lot 3, I believe. And the calculation for lot coverage and building setback looks like the owner would encounter the need or a request to exceed the minimum lot coverage and to exceed the minimum setback for that area next to the alley. There was also conversation among staff that even if the alley vacation is granted, the owner may still be challenged or may still want to seek those variances.
Mike, the finding of facts in here that says that the town council has determined the proposed alley vacation is in the public interest because the alley serves no public function at present, and its vacation does not cause hardship to other properties or lots or eliminates future access. That's staff's finding, correct, that we would then sign off on?
Correct.
That's the,
Yeah, that's correct.
okay. Any questions for Mr. Dale?
Thank you.
Okay. I would point out that this is a public hearing. I have proof of the publication of public notice of the hearing. At this point, I'll open the public hearing if anyone from the public would like to speak on the matter.
I'm Clarence Dale Kennedy. I'm the petitioner. And I've went over, Mike Andrelli is my attorney, and we've went over the recommendations. Also had some conversation with Roger Burris, which is representing Leslie. And my wife and I have no interest in building across the easement, and we're willing to keep it open for the access for the necessary use for anybody in the area that needs to. We're just needing the area to try to stay within the restraints of the standards for building a home. And it's really challenging on the smaller lots in town to not go over the 35% lot coverage. And in order to try to help build a home that someone might want to live in, it's come to our attention if we can vacation the alley, then we can come closer to getting what we feel is needed for our home and try to stay within the restraints and the setbacks of, without having any special easement or assessments or whatever. So.
Do you already have a plan for the home that is going on there, or this is a concept?
No, we've got an actual plan that is right at the 35%. Actually, it's 37% because we were wanting to put in a small pool there.
And this is a investment property you're looking to sell?
No, this is my home.
Okay.
Before my home. And we actually had two lots there, and we combined both of those to try to accommodate that. But part of the second lot was given away prior to my ownership of it, to when my one neighbor would expanded his garage and stuff. Some of the land was given to him in prior years, and that kind of put a little bit of a squeeze on trying to get a piece of property that where you have adequate sized rooms for. We're trying to make it all wheelchair accessible, so that in all the rooms, so that it's maybe a little larger than the standard for that reason.
Other questions for Mr. Kennedy? Thank you. Any other members from the public? Sure.
Good morning. I assume you all got my letter in my papers. And that,
Ms. Carter, would you please just state your
I'm
name
sorry,
for the record, please?
Leslie Carter,
Thank
address
you.
is 255 West Pine Street.
Thank you.
That alleyway is the only way we have to access our garage. There's an alley that runs, if you look at the pictures, that runs side to the house, but you cannot turn into the garage. And even with that alley there, it's hard to get into one of them. So if you totally vacate the alley without an easement, one, no vehicle can get in there, and two, my property values would tank. So I'm more than happy to have Dale Kennedy own it, as long as he keeps it open and has a perpetual access easement for vehicles that will go with the house when and if I ever sell it. That's my biggest concern. I mean, that is the only way, and that garage was built because the alley was there. I mean, back in the old days, that's what they did. They had detached garages, and he put it because of where it was.
So, Ms. Carter, just to be clear, you would not be opposed to this, assuming you had access to that alleyway?
Assuming I had it in writing that it would go with the house forever. Yeah. An easement.
So perhaps, Mike, is there such thing as a perpetual access easement? And would the utility easement essentially serve that purpose?
I was going to.
Yes, exactly. Section 2 of the ordinance, or Section 3 that is, states that the area to be vacated shall remain as a perpetual access and utility easement.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. So does number 3 assuage everyone's concerns here?
Well, I
Well,
can't speak for everyone.
everyone that's spoken today.
To my knowledge, yes.
Okay.
I wasn't sure if that had to be spelled out, that the access could be specifically for her address, or, because when I read it, I did read perpetual access and utility easement, and I wanted to make sure there was no murky area where it was just the utilities had a perpetual access, since that's in the same conjunctive sentence.
Right, and the next sentence expressly states that public access shall remain unimpeded for vehicular and pedestrian use.
And so there's no need to put her address in here, or?
I don't believe so.
I don't either.
Sounds good.
So I guess, Ms. Carter, just to be clear, this ordinance seems to address your exact concerns.
Yes, that what he just said does address my concerns.
So with that, I guess, in your email, you mentioned you would be willing to withdraw your objection. Understanding that, you're okay with this then?
As long as that means that forever
Yeah.
can be accessed with a vehicle, I'm good.
Sure. Thank you. Any other questions for Ms. Carter?
I have one more. Oh, not for her. I'm so sorry. This is for Mike Dale. So therefore, does he need to keep the rock road there as an access, or could it become grass? Or, like, I want to make sure we have that clarified.
Can I address that? We have maintained it, even though it's town-owned. They did put gravel in one time when I called, early on when I moved in, and they grade it once a year, but I pay to have the weeds sprayed, or my son to weed whack and then spray with vinegar. We've maintained it, and it can't be grass for the cars.
So if we vacate, we no longer take care of it.
I know.
So that's just,
That's what,
Though I don't know to what extent the town has been taking care of it
That's what I was going to say.
anyway.
no, well, she just said we
That's
grade
what I
it,
said.
so
Yeah,
I'm
right.
telling her that we would stop coming.
right.
It states in the last sentence there that ownership is responsible for all ongoing maintenance, repair obligations, and all liability equally to the property owners and subsequent owners of the two boarding property. So that.
But that
alley
goes
is-
back to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any other questions from counselors?
Yeah, I actually, this is kind of a side comment with regards to future development in the village with regards to accessory structures such as garages. Looks like this garage in this photo that you've given us, this is really a question for Mike, actually, so don't scoot. Setbacks or side setbacks, do you know off the top of your head, is that generally 5 foot on structures like these? Is this, I guess my question is the structure. I'm not asking if this one's legally built, because I don't want to go there. My question really is, I see a fence that comes out about 4 feet, 5 feet in the picture. And I'm guessing we have these all around town, where we have garages on alleys where there may not be a perpendicular, access point like this one. And I just was curious, is this typical? I'm from the west side over here, and I don't travel all these alleys as often as I should. But is this a continued problem to have we had one other access like this where it was a dead end and we were vacating an alley and there was some pushback back and forth on a similar situation where it was a dead end near the Big Four rail trail and all that. I guess I'm just asking, side setback, or this would be a rear side setback of 5 feet for a accessory structure. Is that our requirement for a accessory structure off of an alleyway?
Mr. Melton, I believe the current standard is 20 feet, but I would need to confirm that for you.
I guess in the future, that may be something we want to investigate as we clean our ordinances up a little bit and just make sure that we're building these things in the proper areas.
Anything else for Mr. Dale? All right, at this point, I will close the public hearing. Unless there's anyone else from the public who would like to speak? All right. So again, we have, this is the first reading for ordinance 2025-18, consideration of an alley vacation. Any questions or comments from counselors? Otherwise, I would entertain a motion.
I would make a motion to introduce ordinance 2025-18 on first reading.
First from Counselor Norris, a second from Counselor Stein. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion passes 6 in favor, 0 opposed. Up next on the agenda is a consideration of an ordinance amending the subdivision control ordinance. This is petition 2025-49OA, ordinance 2025-19. And we have Mike Dale, Director of Planning and Building, to present.
Hello, good morning again. This next item is a code amendment to Chapter 193 of the Code of Ordinances for the Town of Zionsville, which is also known as the Subdivision Control Ordinance for the Town of Zionsville. The state legislature signed a bill recently that requires local units of government to amend their subdivision control ordinances that would require the use of FEMA floodplain maps and NOAA, National Oceanic and Atmospheric Association, NOAA, their precipitation data when reviewing primary plats. So primary plats are the first stage in a subdivision of land for a major subdivision, and those primary plats are reviewed by staff for compliance with our local regulations. What this ordinance would do is make sure that we're also reviewing floodplain maps and NOAA precipitation data when assessing these primary plat proposals. And so this is really kind of a housekeeping matter, just making sure our ordinance, our subdivision control ordinance complies with this recent legislation.
Thanks, Mike. Are there any questions from counselors?
Are these? Oh, go ahead.
The only thing I was going to ask is, I know there was a lot of deadlines that passed by July 1st. Was this one of those that we needed to accelerate this at all?
I don't think so. I
Okay.
mean, yeah.
It became effective, the legislation became effective July 1st. So we're just doing the best we can to keep up with the legislation.
And also, this comes from the Plan Commission, so we just,
Oh, it's a
Yeah,
final.
one time.
Okay. That's
Yeah.
my whole purpose was to see if, never mind.
Yeah.
Got it.
Any other questions from counselors? Having none, I would entertain a motion.
Motion to approve ordinance number 2025-19.
I have a first from Counselor Melton,
Second.
second from Counselor Norris. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion passes 6 in favor, 0 opposed. Up next on the agenda is the Town Council renewal of the municipal solid waste, recyclable, and compost collection and disposal contract by and between the Town of Zionsville and Priority Waste, LLC. We have DPW Director Lance here to walk through this for us.
Thank you and good morning. We are currently in our third and final year of our trash contract with Priority. Because it can take a very long time to bid these projects or solicit proposals, we wanted to kind of lock this up now and get it off everybody's radar and extend this contract as the original contract allows an additional 3 years of the same terms and conditions. So the contract into which we entered with Priority about 2.5 years ago escalates rates annually at 3%. This contract extension continues that 3% annual escalation. So if you are inclined to approve this, and I do recommend that you do, the motion today would be to approve the contract extension with the authorization of the council president to sign on your behalf. That was the same approach we took with the initial contract. So I would be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Any questions for Mr. Lance?
My only question is, can we? I mean, I know we oftentimes have to have sealed bids. Is this a situation where we can avoid that and just approve it?
Yeah, we can, because actually when the town council approved the original contract, we approved it with this ability to renew. And also, there's not a real rate increase because it follows the pricing that we'd already set out in the original contract.
Any other questions? I would make a motion then that we approve the renewal of the contract by and between the Town of Zionsville and Priority Waste LLC.
Second.
Second from Counselor Sampson. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion passes 6 in favor, 0 opposed.
Nice. Everyone on the same page.
Everybody wants it. All right, up next are other matters. Are there any other matters from counselors? Having none, I would make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second from Counselor Norris. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion passes 6 in favor, 0 opposed. The next regular town council meeting is scheduled for Monday, August 4th, 2025 at 7 p.m. in the Zionsville Town Hall Council Chambers. Final notice will be posted in compliance with the Indiana Open Door Law. Thank you.